is April 12th, 2015, and this is Mr. Informal coming from you live with the podcast number 4. Our subject today is tech wearables. Could be from the watches, the fitness, could be from the headphone trackers, or anything that is that you can wear that is technologically inclined, or you can just say smart devices, basically. And so it is now 8:54 p.m. and hopefully you all doing fine on this Sunday night. And let's get the podcast started. First and foremost, I'm glad that we have come a long way when it comes to technology that you can wear. It's only it's actually a very fast decade, as you can tell. We went from beepers, Motorola text devices, cell phones, feature phones, smartphones, and now wearables. Could be from the watches, from the fitness trackers, to the heartbeat sensors. Basically, a lot of things to go, but let me start out by talking about smartwatches, smart devices that you can actually wear. Not garments, but you can actually wear as an accessory. Obviously, smartwatches are in the forefront, and second is the fitness trackers, because smartwatches is an extension of the cell phone that is connected through Bluetooth, or it could be Wi-Fi depending on the devices. So basically, as of right now, we have Android watches. We also have the Apple iWatch, and so those two ecosystems are in the forefront of wearables. Obviously, the smartwatches has recently launched, and Android's been in the smartwatches game for 6 months now, starting from the Motorola's, LG's, Huawei's, Samsung, and so all of them have heartbeat sensors, obviously fitness trackers, notifications, weather, and also just scrolling through your contacts. And so it's not making a big impact right now. I think it's gonna make a big impact once the Apple Watch has suddenly start selling. Because as of right now, the biggest drawbacks of smartwatches is the battery. The battery doesn't last that long because most of the time, your smartwatches are actually on. The screen is on. Obviously, you can turn off the screen and just touch the device itself, and it will turn on. But as a watch, you wanna take off your sleep, or you just wanna look at your watch and look at the time, look at your notification without touching the device, so you know what's going on. So that's the biggest drawback. Another one is obviously is we always have to charge this thing every day, basically like a cell phone. And so those are the two biggest drawbacks that smartwatches are going through right now. And obviously, this is the first round of smartwatches that will catapult the smartwatches in the near future, hopefully with a better battery life and hopefully with a better interactivity with us. But also, obviously, when there's drawbacks, there's also advantages. And so the advantage is that you don't have to look at your cell phone to see notifications, and that's a good thing. And so you can also, basically, a smartwatch is something that you just want to quickly glance without taking out your cell phone as of right now. And so you have the fitness, the fitness aspect of it. When you're running, you want to see how many steps, you want to check your heartbeat sensors, you want to check up how what's your mileage or your location. And so there are definitely different types of aspect that you can use a smartwatch, but there's also the fitness trackers that does the same thing: heartbeats, mileage, your heartbeat rate sensors. And so you want to check up on how long you've been jogging, how long you've been working out, and it really depends. But at the same time, tech wearables are right now are still on the first round of trying to see what its purpose or its true purpose in terms of finding its market. Obviously, tech wearables is carving its way to a new niche, and so that's great. The market is going to be getting bigger and bigger, and obviously will be saturated as more and more companies start to develop and invest in tech wearables. And so new tech wearables are also coming out not just in watches, but also in um, glass sunglasses, eyeglasses, and so also headphones. What else? Also just bracelets, shoes, clothes. I think clothes are actually the one who started the tech wearable revolution, because there are some clothes out there that have a speaker integrated, also headphone jack integrated, when the iPod and also the MP3 players were actually revolutionized the music industry. And a lot of people forgot about that in fashion there were a lot of tech wearables. There's even tech wearable right now where some certain fabrics actually turn red depending on your body temperature. If you're cool, it turns green. If you're hot, then it turns red. So it's a heat sensing technology of garments, basically. And that's actually a tech wearable because it's a technology that you can wear. And so that's people don't forget about that. It's actually fashion actually got there first before any of the smart devices got there when it comes to tech wearables. But tech wearables it's actually doing great as of right now. And so in a short amount of time, we went from smartphones, tablets, um, Google Glass, and now tech wearables. Tech wearables right now are the hottest thing in the industry. Hopefully, you invest in stocks. Obviously, check out the market. But one thing I really would like to see tech wearables, actually specifically smartwatches, is that hopefully they take on, such as when you have a automatic watch, instead of relying on the battery, obviously it relies on your movement, the winding rotor movement inside the watch. I really would like to see a smartwatch use that as a power source. Obviously, there's a lot of mechanics, a lot of physics involved, and the smartwatch has a screen, so it needs to rely on a bigger battery or a bigger power source, and so there's an advantage of that. But as technology evolves, hopefully in the near future, screens or anything electronics uh, will not need as much as power as before, and so we can build smartwatches with automatic movements that will last forever. And it's wishful thinking, but it's the future. I really think it's the future, and I really do think the future of smartwatches, obviously, as using it as a cell phone. Samsung is actually developing that right now. It reminds me of sci-fi movies, and also those shows like Power Rangers, or even movies where you communicate using your hand while wearing some type of device. So that's actually pretty cool, and I would really like to see that. But I think you would need a speaker on the watch, and so there's a lot of technicalities onto that, but that's actually pretty cool, and hopefully we'd see that someday, and the future is not that actually far, thinking about it. And so also fitness trackers are also going to evolve, and we might also see fashion take on the tech wearables. Not in terms of smart devices. I think in terms of just protecting us or making sure that we are comfortable, we are warm, such as obviously right now Gore-Tex is doing it. If you don't know Gore-Tex is a insulation made by DuPont. It actually keeps your body warm inside of you when you're out in the cold to keep you warm. That's actually the point of Gore-Tex. And so, to conclude the Tech Wearable podcast, I think that tech wearables is something to look out for. It's gonna be the same way as the tablet made its market, and it's also gonna be the same thing that people are gonna look out for when it comes to something new. Obviously, Google Glass is not doing good right now, but when it's the circuits, the motherboards, the chips become miniaturized, I actually think Google Glass will take off. To me, Google Glass is actually much more helpful than a smartwatch, because when wearing Google Glass, you can actually just see straight. You don't have to look down. You don't have to you don't have to lift your hand up. I actually think it is the future when it comes to tech wearables, and it might be in the future you won't need to look at your cell phone, or you won't even need to have a cell phone. Actually, you can just use Google Glass as a means of communications, as a means of a device, as a means of making sure that you keep yourself organized, such as a smartphone. And there's a lot of technicalities of it, but again, as more and more technology and the circuits and chips become miniaturized, I actually think that in the future everything will become smaller, and everything is gonna be the same way how we use sunglasses or eyeglasses. Thin frames full of glass. That's all it is. No need for additional bulk. No need for additional extra glass onto it. And because more and more technology is evolving, and more technology is actually being made and invented. So tech wearables is going to be the biggest thing since the phone itself, since the phone has been invented, even since the rotary phone. And so that concludes the podcast number 4. I know it's short, but I actually been busy, and hopefully you enjoy my take on the tech wearables. I'm actually gonna do more follow up of tech wearables in the near future, because again, it's an ever evolving technology. It's an ever evolving market that I actually think it's gonna take off. Again, this is Mr. Informal. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and I will hope to listen to me in the near future. Thank you. Bye bye.